Los Lobos, Orale, Los Lobos, come on, let's go. Buddy Holly tune. That's from the original motion picture soundtrack of La Bamba. The Blues Brothers with Hey Bartender from their album Briefcase Full of Blues. I always do that. I carry in my briefcase all the time when I go somewhere with my CDs or my mics or my recorders, because gotta have it now that the Blues Brothers sang about it, right? And Big Joe Turner with Shake, Rattle, and Roll, and Big Joe Turner was a bartender. They call him the singing bartender. They would have Jimmy Johnson on piano on the way on the other side of the bar, and they would have Big Joe Turner behind the bar singing with his big voice, Big Joe Turner. Saw him one time. It was a crack up. He was a great singer, had a great first set. Intermission came out, and this lady got him full of whiskey. And we had to carry him back to his chair, and then he popped up with all his music. And Big Joe Turner, thank you so much with Shake, Rattle, and Roll, one of the first rock and roll tunes. You are listening to Bluesland on KMRE 102.3 FM. We're low powered right now, but we're moving on up from 100 watts to 2,000 watts real soon, and we hope that you stay tuned to us. I know a lot of people listen to us on their car, and I think that's important that we have more power so you can cruise a little further and still hear us. And I'm going to put on Joe Astley right now. Joe is here, going to play live for us, and he's getting his equipment ready, and I'm filming this too, by the way, for my TV show Adventures with Leo Schumaker on Channel 10 here in Bellingham, Washington. And we have a whole lot of fun going here and there and listening to everybody. And I had the pleasure of listening to Joel when he was playing with Mark Hummel down at the Lincoln Theater over at Mount Vernon, and it was a blast. And I've met Joel before, and I thought, well, it's time that you came in, because you'd be playing at the venue, the Conway Muse. Yep. So come on up in the mic, and we'll talk about your stuff. Now, the show is on Saturday night, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And what time to start?
We're on at 8, and I think it's going to go till about 10:30, 11.
Great. Who's the band that's going to be with you?
That's my band.
Uh-huh.
So I've got Joseph Barton on the guitar, I got Don Montana on the drums, and Dan McGillicuddy on the bass.
And how long have you guys been together?
Oh, we've been playing together. Well, Joseph and I met years and years ago, and we've been, he'd hire me as an accompanist, and I'd hire him if I needed a guitar player or a bass player over the years. He'd sub for me. And, my last band, the High Note Group, that kind of fell apart. There's a couple of things that caused that. So I was looking for a new thing, and I thought, you know what, it's time. It's time to work with Joseph.
Good.
We've been friends forever, and I love the way he plays. I love his songwriting, his whole thing. And so we started it up and grabbed Don Montana, Daniel McGillicuddy, and now we got this thing.
Well, Joel Astley is here on Bluesland talking about his music. You have a new album coming out, don't you?
I do. And
what's the name of it?
So I finally decided on a title.
Hey!
It was hard. It was difficult to decide on an album name, because there's so many factors. Do I want to name it after one of my favorite songs? Do I want to have it say something about me? And what I did was I kind of put it all together. I recorded it in California at Greaseland Studios with Kid Anderson behind the board.
Great producer.
Great producer. He plays keys and guitar on the album. Johnny Bergen does most of the guitar work. June Core on the drums. Randy Bermudez on the bass, and I've got a couple of backup singers from the Bay Area, Marina Krause and Jill Deneen, both wonderful singers. So I'm really happy with the album, the way it came out. We're going to be seeing that in late summer, and I'm calling it Seattle to Greaseland.
That's cool.
It was perfect, because I would love to have my own guys on there. My next album, I'm probably going to have, my guys, and who knows? Life's crazy. It brings changes, and you never know. But this album was, Greaseland All Stars. So I thought, okay, Seattle to Greaseland.
That's a good one, Joel. I love that.
Simple.
So Tower of Power a long time ago did an album called East Bay Grease. And I'm originally from the Bay Area from a long time ago, and we used to call ourselves greasers because we're from East Bay.
Well, I didn't talk to Kid about how he came up with the name, but I wonder.
Yeah, maybe.
That would make a lot of sense.
Well, Kid Anderson's with Rick Estrin in the Nightcats right now.
He is. He's also playing with Charlie, and he's getting a lot of work.
He's amazing. He's a wild man on stage too.
He's a wild man. He's a musical genius. I think everybody who's worked with him will agree. He's pretty phenomenal.
Well, Kid Anderson, isn't he from Norway?
He is, but he doesn't have any trace of accent.
But he's a big guy.
He's huge. Yeah, he's very big in every way.
I'll be darned. That in every way, that's a good one. I like that. Joel
Yeah.
Astley's here on Bluesland talking about his upcoming album with Kid Anderson producing it, and about his appearance over at the Conway Muse on Saturday night. What time is it again?
8 o'clock. His doors are at 7. You go to their website and they'll have a ticket link.
Good. And I like going there. I mean, they always present great blues, even country and western.
Country, western, blues rock.
And outside venues too.
Yes, yeah, that's coming up later in the year, I believe. Yeah, they wait till it's real nice. Which so means that they get maybe 2 or 3 shows out there? No.
I swear, it's rained so hard, hasn't it?
Oh man, I'm just happy. Sunshine is coming this weekend. If you're listening online and you're not from here, we're starved for it.
Yeah,
we're all looking forward.
We need our vitamin D.
Oh man.
So you're listening to Bluesland here on KMRE at kmre.org and 102.3 FM. My name is Leo Schumaker. My special guest is Joel Astley. This is our first time trying to get a live act here in our KMRE studios. It's important we do this. I want all the artists out there to say, hey, we're going to stop by Bluesland as we travel through. That's the whole purpose of radio, and I love radio. Now, I've been on radio a long time, and I just enjoy it. How did you get started playing harmonica?
We're going to go back to high school for that one. I was hanging out with some guys, and we were doing kid stuff, running around, being kids, and one day I went over to his house. We went down to the basement to, have a beer or 2 or 10 or whatever we were doing back then. And I noticed there's a drum set up. And I was like, oh, cool, who plays the drums? He goes, oh, I'm learning how to play the drums. And then our other buddy, he picked up bass. And for all you musicians listening, you know what happens when a drummer and a bass player get together and they start doing everything together, they start to knit, right? And I was a little worried about maybe falling out of the group. And so I started singing, I was singing, when they have a jam session, I would just jump in front of the mic and do whatever and make stuff up. But I thought that anybody could do that, and that didn't make me a musician, is what I thought. And so I thought, what can I afford, and what really speaks to me? And I was already listening to a ton of blues, and so I grabbed a harmonica. I went to the store, I bought, I think it was a B flat. And I didn't know anything about harmonica at the time, and that meant that they had to be in a certain key, or I'm not playing harmonica on that tune. So I didn't really take to it. It was just a little too mysterious, and I wasn't getting the satisfaction. I was already getting my creative juices flowing in the visual arts. I was very happy as a painter and drawing and sculpting and printmaking and doing all that stuff, and I was really knocking on that fine art door and going from gallery to gallery and trying to meet people, and so music just didn't have anything to really pull me in, because I was just, I guess frankly, too busy already. So fast forward way into the future. So I was 16, I think, when I bought the first one. I was about, I don't know, mid-30s when I picked it back up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first song you tried to play on harmonica? B flat harmonica? When you used to start with a harmonica playing a C, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
B flat's different.
Yeah, it is. It's useless unless you're in. There's only a couple of keys that each. If there's anybody out there who's wondering how harmonica music theory works, probably not that many people out there, but you got to have all the keys. If you're going to go play with a band and you don't know what key their song is going to be in, you got to have all of them and be ready to go, because they're keyed instruments. So they're very limited. That's kind of the charm of them, right? They're very limited. in mechanically limited. So it's all up to the player to bring any flavor or originality to it. And I suppose every instrument's like that. You know.
Sure. So what kind of harmonica was it that you bought? Was it a Honer?
No, that first, yes, it was. It was a blues harp.
Oh, okay.
It was a Honer blues harp in the blue box.
Mm-hmm. I remember those.
The first
Sure.
one, yeah.
Sure. Wow.
Yep, and I had that for, God, I think I still have that. I think I still have my first harmonica. But I moved up into more, more expensive harps. Right now, I like to play Lee Oscars. I'm kind of unofficially endorsed by Lee,
Yeah.
and so I like to definitely give him a shout out. He's doing really interesting things right now, yeah, if you want to look him up, his harmonica business is going really well, and it's very unique.
And we've had him in the studio here twice.
Oh.
But we just talked, I didn't think about putting him on the air because I didn't have the equipment.
Sure.
But we talked about his background, how he got involved.
Yeah, he was in a little band in the 60s, 70s, a little band called War.
Little band. What a great band that was.
Oh, he's got some great stories.
Yeah, he does. We're talking to Joel about his harmonica playing, how he got started, well, the blues harp, how much did it cost you when you first bought that one?
Oh man, it was under $20. I think it was like 18.
And now they're about 100, right?
That same harp today I could probably get for 50 if I looked around.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
my.
the good ones, something that I would look for. The ones that I like are 60, 70, and up from there.
Wow. And Lee Oscar just got a harmonica built for the Rolling Stones.
Yes,
I think
they have
he only has one. He had to ship all of them over to the Rolling Stones, so he has one. But when he gets some, boy, it's gonna be fun to get one of those.
Yeah, that'll
Wow.
be cool. I'm definitely gonna be talking to him about that.
Yeah, Mick Jagger's a great harmonica player. I think they did it just for him and the Rolling Stones. So, can you play the first tune you ever learned?
Ooh, I'd have to remember. So there's actually a couple of different bands that I started with, and we're not talking about the high school basement jam thing. We're talking about, in my 30s when I decided I was going to try playing harmonica for real. A friend of mine had a band, and she was doing some covers that were very kind of original takes on covers and a couple of original songs. And I played accompaniment on some of those. But I think that the first song that I played on stage was with a Black Sabbath cover band.
Whoa.
The Wizard. So any Black Sabbath fans out there, you guys know about the Wizard. It's like the only harmonica song that Black Sabbath did. And so I would sit around through 3 crappy bands and, my earplugs in, and it would be just, long nights for one song. But man, I got such a kick out of playing, that I was like, all right, this is the thing. I love to perform. A lot of musicians are great musicians, but they don't like to perform. I like to be an entertainer. I like to, I like that attention, but I also like to be in service of people who come to get a good show. You know what I mean?
Sure. Well, you're an artist. That's why.
Yeah, maybe.
You present.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
so
cool.
I think about a lot of musicians who are studio workers or or they just play in their homes for their own pleasure. And I was talking to somebody who said I would perform live, but I'm just really uncomfortable when I'm on stage.
Really?
And I thought for a short minute, and and that's when I realized that I was exactly the opposite way. I'm a little uncomfortable in between stages.
Wow.
I'm only comfortable when I'm performing. It only makes sense to perform. And before I got into music, I was having a lot of trouble with personalities at work, and I think it was because I was trying to perform instead of just do my job. So when I got into music,
you thought of it.
I figured it out, and it was kind of accidental. Things blew up at my job, and got kind of hairy for a little while, and it was right at the time that I was transitioning into becoming the entertainer and the performer that I am now. And looking back, I'm thinking, man, music smoothed everything out. Music does
so cool.
wonderful things to your mind, and performing kind of it gave me a receptacle for all of that attention seeking that was making my life so uncomfortable.
I'm glad you found it out. That's amazing because some people never find it out.
Oh, I know.
Wow.
You know, and I'm not saying that I've figured it all out, but I'm definitely living in less pain now.
Music does heal.
It does.
Yeah,
It does.
I believe it's a different language. It's math.
Yes.
Everything.
Yes.
So play us
Art.
Yeah.
Art saves lives.
We should make a poster of that.
You
Art
know what?
saves lives.
So, can I tell you a short story?
Please, yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
so
Yeah.
my grandmother was an artist. She
Uh-huh.
passed during the pandemic, and she was a painter, a printmaker. She was a sketch artist, watercolors, oils, everything. And she was doing a print. And if you know about block cuts, you
Yeah.
have to cut everything in mirror image,
Uh-huh.
right? So you're doing everything reversed to how you want it to appear. So if you're doing text, you have to write a mirror image. You have to carve everything backwards so that when you print it, you get the inverse.
Uh-huh.
Right? So you get the opposite. Anyway, so she wanted to do one that said art saves lives, and she was going to make cards out of it. So she gets the art saves all done and realizes that she's forgotten to do it in reverse.
Oh.
And so she did lives in reverse.
Uh-huh.
So when she printed them all, it said, Savastra lives. And so we all decided, my family and I, we were looking at it, and we all decided that Savastra, or maybe Savastra, like, you know, some Hindu,
Hindu guy, yeah.
patron saint of happy accidents or something.
That's funny.
Savastra lives.
Yeah.
And so I was gonna maybe on the back of my album, just in little letters at the bottom, Savastra.
Why don't you do that?
Yeah.
That's a great idea. In honor of your grandmother.
In honor of my grandmother.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. So Joel Astley is here on Bluesland KMRE 102.3 FM and web streaming at kmre.org. The name of the show is Bluesland, and of course we love the blues here. And I'm going to ask Joel to play us a couple tunes, maybe.
Sure, I'd love to. Let's go with one that's going to be on this upcoming album.
Yes.
It's called Karma. All the songs on the upcoming album are my songs. They're my original songs. We did one cover, and I think I'm probably going to leave it off. I'm not super happy with the way it came out. So it'll just be all originals, which I'm very happy about that.
In artist plate, right? Palette.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
absolutely. So, all right, this one's called Karma. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, karma, the karma wheel rolls so slow. Yeah, karma, the karma wheel rolls so slow. Well, it may take a while, but you'll reap what you sow. Well, I see these backstabbers are trying to get what they want. Well, I know somebody's gonna come and stab them in the front. Karma, the karma wheel rolls so slow. Yes, it may take a while, but you'll reap what you sow. Yeah, there's people that I trusted. Well, now they're telling lies. Well, I know, baby, karma's gonna cut them down to size. Oh, karma, the karma wheel rolls so slow. It may take a while, but you'll reap what you sow. I think you know what I'm talking about too, don't you, Leo?
Yeah.
got to tell you about karma right here. Because sometimes, somebody gets the best of you, first thing you want to do is get them back, you know? But every time, that gets me into more trouble than when I started. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have learned it's better to just sit back and let karma do all that work. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
Well, these dirty double crosses, I thought they were my friends. Well, I know, baby, karma's gonna get them in the end. Karma, the karma wheel rolls so slow. Yeah, it may take a while, but you'll reap what you sow.
Joel Astley here with Karma.
Yeah.
That was wonderful. The best thing I enjoyed about that part, you had two different harmonicas. You had a Lee Oscar,
Yeah.
and then you had a,
Chromonica, this is a Hohner chromatic harmonica.
that's an amazing instrument, because it's got a button on the
It's
side.
got a button on the side,
And how
so
many
you
keys can you get from that?
can get
How many
in.
notes? How many
You
notes?
can get into all of them.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hardly ever see anybody play those anymore. William Clark, the great harmonica player, played it.
Yep. William
I
Clark,
think Kim
George.
Wilson did it.
Yep, Kim Wilson, George Harmonica Smith.
Yeah, yeah.
Mark Hummel. Mark Hummel still
I've
performing.
never seen him do that. Really?
Yeah, yeah. He does this one. What was? I can't think of the name of. I can't remember the name though. That's the one. I thought, oh, I gotta learn that song. I still gotta learn that song.
So, Joel, how do you say your last name? I say
Astley. Astley.
Astley. Okay, got
Astley,
it. Okay.
yeah.
Now, that was a wonderful tune. I love that.
Thank
Karma.
you.
Karma is so important, and you're right. You get, instead of running in there and jumping on somebody, beating the heck out of them,
Oh,
just
man.
wait.
Gotta wait. But man, it's hard to be patient, and that's how I introduce the song. Usually when I perform it, is I say, this song is a song about patience. It's not about.
Clever.
It's not at all about karma.
Uh-huh.
It's about patience.
Uh-huh.